Welcome to Analytics with Nags. In this video, we're going to see about a Power BI real-time project. We're going to create two reports, that is revenue analysis and the customer aging analysis. Let us see with real-time example. Before working on project, we already seen what are different kinds of work or projects we encounter in Power BI. It can be a new development, migration and enhancement. This video is all about one more new development. We already seen one new development project related to loan disbursement. If you haven't seen the video, just go and watch it once. Today, the topic is all about vendor aging report. The user has provided the sample data and we need to design the dashboard. It's considered as a proof of concept project. And the customer has given Excel and he needs two reports. Based on the Excel sheet, he needs revenue analysis and customer aging report. So before heading to any project, we need to understand what is this report speaks about. Revenue is very simple. It is all about sales, how much sales happened or how much revenue the organization has acquired. It's all about sales. What about the customer aging? If you haven't familiar with this kind of report naming and what this report does, then you cannot able to design any reports. You need to understand what this aging report means functionally before development. Let us see how to achieve this. I'm not going to focus much on revenue analysis and I'm going to focus more on customer aging report. If you are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button right now to learn the concepts in Power BI. Now, as we see in any of the project development, these are the different steps we need to follow. Understand the data source, in this case it's again Excel, and how to consume data. We are going to read it based on the Excel or database. We need to decide and where to store. So we are storing only in Power BI itself. It's as it is a POC project. Then we are going to focus on analyze data and fact and dimension. Let us go for this step 3 now by understanding the data. This is my data where you have sample data over here, have transaction number, equipment, customer area, monthly rate, payment date, status, active, net revenue and deduction. So first of all, we focus on revenue analysis. So revenue, we have one field here, that is fact, that net revenue. Based on this measure, we can analyze different dimensions, equipment by customer or area and whatever. Okay, so revenue analysis is quite simple. Let us focus on customer aging. What is the aging means? Basically, to explain about this business, one equipment supply company, and the company supplies different equipments to different customers, and those customers, it can be from different areas. So these areas, it is not the area belong to customer, and from which area they supply this equipment, that is this area belongs to the supply company itself. Okay, so we are building dashboard for that supply company, equipment supply company, and they have monthly rate. We don't know what does this means, and basically this supply company supplied this equipment, this customer, from this location. Okay, and the payment date should be on 31st 1st 2020, whether they paid the payment or not. That is the status, payment status. And we ignore this field right now, we don't know what is this. And net revenue, so this is the revenue they have received from this particular transaction, and the deduction is something, they can be transport or it can be tax, whatever reason. Okay, this is what it is. And what about this second line? This says like for the customer 2, this equipment is supplied and the payment should be on this date and it is unpaid, and the revenue from this is 38,000. So basically, from the 31st January 2020, they need to pay the amount. Till this date, I'm recording this video on September, so it is more than 6 months. They didn't pay this amount. So like that, if you see, scroll down, if you see the 30th date, okay, this is previous month. So this particular customer haven't paid around 6,677, and it is around 30 days. Okay, the due of this amount is 30 days. He has to be paid this amount on 30th August 2020, but he hasn't paid till September 23rd. I am recording this on 23rd of September. So it is under 30 days due. So we need to classify each record like how many days it is due. That is only for the unpaid one. If it is paid, we can ignore this. This is for the second report I'm speaking about, aging. Aging means how many days overdue. So those overdues can be tagged in different aging buckets. So this transaction is 30 days below 30 days overdue, and if you see the month of May, it should be around 90 days overdue, something like that, 90 or 90 to 120 days overdue. So those buckets we need to tag this record and view it in a report. Let me show it to you. So this is the thing. So this customer has overdue of 36,000, and which falls under this bucket. So they want to understand this, how was each customers, how many days buckets, I mean aging buckets, they are overdue. This is what a aging report is all about. I hope it clarifies what is this aging. So that is what I want to highlight. Like, before developing the report, you need to understand the report functionality. What is the aging report means? Okay, then only you can able to achieve it. This is point number one. So back to our topic, the analyze data and identify fact and dimensions. Let me go to that my source Excel. So this is my source, and I need to classify fact and dimensions here. So I already classified it, so let me unhide everything. So what I unhided, let me choose geography, let me choose customer, let me choose equipment, and I will unhide dim date. Okay, so what kind of modeling I did? So you have this data here, that is transaction number, and I classify these things, I mean the simple Excel, into different dimensions. Like equipment should be one of the dimension, and customer should be one of the dimension, and area that belongs to the supplier location should be another dimension. Remaining part, like a monthly rate, payment date, should be part of a fact table. That is what it is. Okay, so this is what you need to classify. How I identified? Because this is like a kind of a product. If you see sales of a retail shop, equipment is nothing but product. So similar to that, so I identified this as a one of the product dimension, or it is considered as a equipment dimension. And customer is a different dimension, I mean different way you need to look on. So customer is another dimension, and location wise it is another branches, it is called branches. So these kind of analysis you need to make, classify these three are different dimensions, and this transaction should be part of your fact tables. Okay, so this is what I'm modeling. And once you have only one information here, that is not enough. So what I need to do is, like, I need to check whether any other attributes of this customer equipment area is available. So I have got renamed, I consider area dimension as geography. So I consider area 1, area 2, area 3, and customer as customer 1, customer 2, and its contact number, address. So all its relevant properties should be maintained in different tables. Okay, and I designed it like equipment name, equipment manufacturer. So other attributes also can be tracked in your dimension. One entry per record, I mean per item in your dimension table. So this is how I have designed. A dim date I am populating in Power BI itself. I'm just for demonstration purpose I have kept it here. So these are different 4 dimensions and one fact table. This is my modeling. So how did I get it? I got it from the customer itself. I mean to say the supplier company having this informations. So from him I have got it. Initially he gave this, I mean he has given this information. So it's our responsibility to ask relevant information of the dimensions so that you can build a dedicated dimension. Sometimes what happens, these informations can be present in your data itself. Okay, so you need to pick up which attributes belongs to each dimension and make it as a unique version and keep it in a dimension y. I mean you can create a dimension over here. That is what it is. That is how you need to do a modeling. Let us try to see this modeling. Let me zoom in. So you have a sales fact and you have equipment, you have a geography, customer and dim date. Typical star schema. You have built a star schema here. I'm not going to create as usual. I'm not going to create all the steps step by step. The prerequisite of this uh, video is like you should have a basic understanding about Power BI, how to get the data, how to create visuals, all those things. Then you can focus on how you can modeling. This video mainly focus on real-time projects. Okay, so with that note, so I have imported the tables, those tables directly, and I have shown the relationship here. Now let me walk through what are the things I have did here. So basically the net revenue I have used from sales fact, that is direct measure. Net revenue I didn't get any dedicated measure for it. And deductions also you see here, it is direct measure. And net profit, that this user didn't ask for, I have created it because you have a revenue and there is something like a deduction. If you see in Excel, you have only net revenue and deduction, meaning like there is something going from the supplier packet, I mean the company's packet. So its revenue is what is incoming and deduction is what deducted from is net revenue. So the profit should be net revenue minus deduction. So these things you can suggest to the client or whoever requested for the dashboard. So I have created a net profit. It's a simple measure like sum of net revenue minus sum of deduction. This is what a net profit is all about. Then what I did, it's like top 5 customers by revenue. So not by revenue, maybe instead of this I should put revenue here, revenue. And what I did, so customers, and then I use top 5 by net profit. Instead I will use net revenue, top 5 customers by net revenue. Since it is a revenue analysis, I'm focusing more on net revenue. So top 5 customers, so I put you know how to do that. So the visualization I used is like multi-row card, and I used customer name and net revenue. Here in this visual, filter on this visual, I need to use top 5. That is different filters you have. You need to choose top 5 and the customer name. See, let me do it once again for you quickly. So this is the one, and I can, so customer name is already there. Filter customer name top, usually it will be like a basic filtering. Instead what you need to do, top in, then you put top 3 or 5, whatever, top 5 by net revenue. That's it. So apply filter, you will get only top 5. So obviously my all my customers in customer 1 2 3, the chronological order itself, I mean those customers are in top 5. That's fine. Okay, then next thing is it is very simple, revenue by month. So I used month, the date is connected. So how I created dim date, that I will share the link how to create this dim date function. You can see the what do you call the M query. I will share this one. I have created a video for this, so you can use that script for this. So this is a script you need to use to create the dim date function here. So once I have the dim date, then the month wise I connected sales date with dim date using the payment date. Then each month this is my payment expected, and what is this line indicates the net profit. Okay, so I want to view along with that same graph. That is why I used both the things in a same graph. That is, your bar chart is net revenue and net profit is your line chart. This is the one about revenue. Then revenue by payment status, whether it is paid or not. See, this is my expected revenue. Basically it is expected revenue. So the paid is nothing but the customer has paid to the supplier company, and unpaid is what I am focusing on. That I am focusing on this customer aging, because aging report should focus on whoever has unpaid. For paid, it is, there is no concept of aging. Only for unpaid you have aging concept. So this is point number one. And revenue by equipment. So using this analysis, which equipment getting more revenue for the user. So this analysis make a little sense for the user in the case like he can invest more on which equipment in future. So this equipment 5, giving him more revenue than any other equipments. And finally he see like revenue by different locations. Now here I have added a tooltip. So it's a dynamic tooltip. So you see the different locations is from Hyderabad, and this is from Chennai, and this is from Bangalore, I think. So you can have those location name as well. So each revenue for this supply company, from which location it has supplied this equipment. So Hyderabad being the biggest revenue generator for this company, as you see the big bubbles for it. And in this, how much revenue he got, net profit, how many customers, that is distinct customers he has got, and what are the different equipments, 7 equipments he is selling. If you see here, this will change dynamically. So here you can see the dynamic changing. So in this there are only 4 customers but 5 equipments he is supplying. So basically this first page speaks about your revenue analysis. All these things created based on simple map. For this I've used the map, and I use the location area name. So you can see the geography table, how it looks like. It is very simple. Like I have area 1 2 3, three different areas. He has branches and the location name. Instead you can have a longitude, latitude, so you have an exact location. Okay, so this is what I recommend to use a dedicated dimension. So you can extend your dimensional attributes over here, and then you can use those things in your maps. So for this I use the area. This is pretty straightforward, like revenue by equipment is another dimension, and you have this one. Instead you can have a equipment manufacturer. The again you can see the equipment data here. So this equipments manufactured by which company, this information is not part of your data provided by user. I have extended this in the dimension. So if you extend your dimension with little more information, you can have a different analysis. You can see, like I will put it here. So you can view it as a hierarchy, like over here. Let me zoom in. So L&T, Mitsubishi and Huawei. So these are 3 different companies those provides those equipments. So which company you need to focus on, those things also you can analyze it using this report. So we are good with revenue analysis. Let us focus on customer aging, what I did. So basically as I said before, aging is basically for unpaid or overdue dates. So as on this particular date, how many customers are not paying their dues. So these are distinct customers. He may be having 10 to 15 customers, but only 6 customers are on due. Maybe the 6 customers are not paying the amount on time. That is the thing. And net revenue due, so this is the total amount that is to come for him. I mean, this is this much amount, so you cannot show it as income during this financial year. So those kind of calculation you can make it very quickly. So now this particular chart, what it indicates, it's like, see, there are total customers on this particular month. There are 5 customers, and of them which 3 of them paid on time, only 2 of them didn't pay on time. And this month March, 8 customers are there, procured equipments. 4 of them paid on time, 4 of them didn't provide. So these kind of analysis he can make it using this particular chart. How did I make it? Like, let me show this one. There is a quick measure for this. So there are 2 different measures. One is total customers. So total customers is like a distinct count of, let me zoom in. So total customers, that is the total customers, distinct count of all of status. Because why I put all of status is like, I have filtered this particular page for unpaid. As I said before, aging report is entirely for unpaid. I mean, those who didn't pay the transactions, those are not paid, are considered as for overdue, and for the overdue only we need to consider aging. So that is what, when I do this unpaid, this number of distinct customers who procured on that month will go in vain. I mean, will not, this filter should not be applicable. That is why I put all here for the status. So that will give me distinct customers. Then for number of due customers, the formula is pretty simple. I have filtered using unpaid. Okay, whoever has unpaid, that I filtered and showed it in the bar chart. This is the formula for your customers by month. Then this is the main part of this project agenda, like how to do a customer aging. So first of all, let me go back to the data. So you have a payment date, and you need to understand how to calculate that bucket. You need to find the difference from the payment date from the current date. So each day it has to be dynamically calculated. Assume like on February excuse me. So on February 28th of 2020, so what happens is, it is 1 month due. It is between 30 days bucket. Okay, this particular transaction, and on March it goes for 60 days bucket, correct? Right, if we didn't pay it on March. So every day this has to be calculated dynamically against the current date. So the calculation is nothing but the unpaid, for unpaid records, the today minus the payment due date, it gives the number of days. So that days should be tagged under different buckets. Let me show the formula for this. So let me go to transform data. There you go. So the step 1 is to add a column, like add a custom column, local now. Let me show it to you. You have these dates, like earlier we have extracted from exact fact table, net revenue and deduction. The first column we have added is like today. Like instead of today in Power BI, it's the local now. Okay, now then I converted into a date, that change it to date data type, that is 23rd of September. Then renamed it to current date, added another column. Okay, that gives me, like, I'm finding a difference, current date minus payment date. That is what it is, as simple as that. Okay, so we subtracting the current date minus payment date, that will give us, so this particular record is 236 overdue if it is unpaid. okay, for unpaid. So basically this should be calculated only for the unpaid. For simplicity, I am calculating for all records, and in the filter, in the page level filter, I have created the I filtered the unpaid for the customer aging analysis. Okay, and extracted days, like then see it gives data in the duration data type, so this should be converted into integer. Then once it is done, I have written another I just renamed it as aging. Then I created the aging bucket. Okay, so if you see, like I have created another column, like if the aging is greater than and less than 30, then I am creating one bucket here, I mean custom column, that specifies different days, like whether it falls under 90 to 180 days, 91 to 180 days, or 0 to 30 days. If it is 24 days overdue, then it should be 0 to 30 days, and if it is between 31 to 60, it should be like that. So I have created a custom column here. Okay, this is what it is. So in the fact table itself, I have first derived the number of days it is overdue, and based on that overdue date, I have created some kind of buckets. If what happens if I am not creating this bucket? Let us see this one, that the purpose of this bucket is to minimize the confusion. I mean, if you see without this bucket, the age group, let me put in age bucket here, what happens? Okay, it is summed up. Maybe what I need to do is like do not summarize. Okay, basically it is not summarized, forget about that. So aging, so it creates 24, 54, 85, 105, 146. So it creates a lot of confusion. Assume you have multiple difference between the dates. Now it's a sample data, you have very few of them. Assume you have like 21, 23, 25, like that. It keeps on going 50 different values of different aging dates. So in order to minimize that, you need to create a aging bucket over here. Okay, so this makes very simple, like 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60, 61 to 90 days, and 91 to 180 days. So user can easily able to understand in what bucket this customer has to give. So basically this customer 5 has to give, I mean there are 258 triple three amount to be overdue for this customer. I mean this customer has to give it to the supplier company. That is what the detail is all about. And if you want to analyze this detail, you can create a drill through report, and I will give it as an exercise to you guys to create a drill through report, as well as give this proper order. You see here 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60 days, and 61 to 90 days, 91 to 180. This should come next to this. So this is exercise number 1. Order these aging in the proper way, and you create a drill through report so that people can see number of transaction. Basically for this customer 46,000, right? So when you create a drill through, what are the transactions that is overdue, that he has to see. So these two things are exercise for you guys. Just if you're following this channel, you can able to create it using how to order column, and how to do the drill through, that I've already created a dedicated video for it. I hope you guys understand the concept of customer aging. So while seeing data like this, user can focus on which customer he has to call upon. So now you can see, like basically if you see here, by seeing this analysis, you can see like the transaction done. So he can focus on this particular customer, because he's not at all paying the amount, because the amount greater than 180 also he has not paid, and 180 days he has not paid. And if you see this customer, he is not paid maybe one of the transaction. If you click it here, he can see only one transaction he has did, and he has not paid it. So whether he can ignore him or he can focus on this particular guy, the customer can decide. So only one transaction, that is fine. But whereas him, he's not even paying any of the transaction, all the transaction, every month he is doing the transaction, and he's not paying the amount. So that is what he can foresee it here, and he can decide whether to push for this customer to get all the money done, and next time or next month onwards whether to give him equipment or not. So these kind of analysis he can make, and this is the main purpose of your customer aging. I hope you guys understand the real business scenario of how you need to develop the dashboard once the data is shared, and the customer aging concept also I have explained. If you like this video, please share and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more real-time projects like this. Do remember that data is your asset.